Enough with the dilly-dally.
Perfect opening.
And the goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rock.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Day 3 of the Musicfest 2025 daily live streams from Godfrey Daniels. Today we have Bobby Siegfried, Mallory Zondag, and Matt Schmoyer from Powder Valley Bang. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, joined by guest co-hosts
Mallory Zondag.
Bobby Siegfried.
And you are listening to...
Your next favorite band.
Yes!
So sorry for the delay off the top, and then also there's a good chance my voiceover was not in line on the stream. It was here, trust us. But there's some internet snafus happening. If you tuned in earlier this week, we had Ramona Labar on, as well as Ty Valone from the Groove Merchants and Jenny Founds from Ruby Deer. The Ramona conversation went fine. Ty conversation went fine. He starts to sing the beautiful song Real Estate with Jenny singing backup. And about 38 seconds into that song, internet totally killed. So we didn't even get to Jenny. So luckily she was available to come back. So Tuesday we're going to have Jenny Founds back on, and that's the day that Ruby Deer performs. It's going to be a packed show. We now have 4 guests that day. I always say to myself, I need to keep it to 2 guests. Well, even today we've got 3. Friday we had 3. Plenty more coming up 3. There's a 4-bagger in there somewhere. And you know what? It's just because we're so committed to the great content that's available during the Musicfest week. So you're welcome, Bethlehem.
And you're popular. People want to be on here with you.
And the Valley's chock full of talent, you know?
It sure is. It sure is.
Yeah.
As on display right here, we always are so honored to bring on the designer of the poster and mug. Go grab it. Do you mind grabbing that, Bobby?
Oh, yeah.
Let's swap it out. So I had this one out there because it's just fun
It's classic.
40th anniversary
Yeah.
one. But let's swap it out for
Gotta
this
rep
year's
the
one.
merch.
There's something in there. I'm not sure if it's...
It's water, Bobby.
Is this water? Yeah. Okay.
Water. Actually, yeah. We don't need to see the Musicfest logo. All due respect. Let's get into some of the
already up
design.
there.
But we'll get into more of this in a second. I can bring it up on the screen. That was my plan. But I figured why not have it in the shot as well. And so visual artist and performing artist. So here it is, Lehigh Valley talent right on display in every possible discipline. And I think off the top, we wanted to talk before we kind of get into each of your stories and different things we can promote. Just simply that, like something that does come up on this show is obviously it's a music podcast that I'm bringing on the performing arts, and they're often I wish I could draw better. I wish I could design. Oh, these people do an amazing job. But then I happen to talk to visual artists, and they're like, man, I wish I could play an instrument. I wish. And there's even just this, if you really want to get like. I had George Harab on yesterday, so we got super nerdy, and I love it. And so to get a little bit music is really just vibrations, but it's art. So you're taking the air and turning it into this beautiful sound but it's a shared experience. Like, obviously you can write a beautiful song just for yourself, but where it really becomes powerful, like a live performance, is when it's a shared experience, but it's a moment in time. Whereas a visual piece of art, you have forever.
That's true.
And so it's this very weird, different thing that each artist is often wishing they had the other one. I want the permanence of a piece of art that's on the wall.
Versus the ephemeral.
And the other one's going, no, I want to be there when the person experienced the art.
Yeah.
Because they put it on the wall in the museum or their house or whatever, and you're not there to watch the person fall in love with it. Whereas the musician can watch that person either just absolutely get blown away for the first time they're hearing it, or singing along because it's their favorite song.
Gosh, yeah.
Go, now, talk.
I want you to know how hard I'm fighting nerding out right now. When you start talking about like earth vibrations and things like that.
Nerd it.
Yeah, I
Do
have
it.
80 things in my head right now that I could jump in and say.
Everybody loves the
Oh my
nerd.
gosh.
If I could go back to the beginning of this show, I would have not avoided the nerdy, because in the beginning I thought, oh, people don't know. I'm interested, but probably nobody else. But anytime it went there, everyone's always like, oh my God, I love that part. Could be about a music, could be about effects pedal, could be about, who knows what, the time signature
Those are
of
the
a song.
conversations I enjoy the most.
So
Like,
let's do it. Yeah,
vibes,
talk about
the nerd,
your art and your appreciation for the opposite one, or even others, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, all my life I wanted to be able to draw. I wanted to be able to do some sort of visual art, and I'm kind of glad computers exist, and I grew up in the right time.
Right.
Because, when I say I do a little bit of graphic design, I try and like keep that under my breath. I do a little bit of graphic design.
Well, I design my own things, these little graphics that I do, and my kids always tell me, because I have two kids who actually they both go to Pratt, which
Oh,
where
really?
you went.
Yeah,
We can
yeah,
get
it
into
is.
that in a little bit, but
Nice.
in the beginning when I started doing it, they were like, "You look like," and all due respect to mental illness, schizophrenic, because I had every different font, every different color, and they were like, "Calm it down, go with 3 at the most, maybe 2," and I was just like, okay, and so it's just having some of those coaching moments, and it's so beautiful when it actually comes from your child. But it was just interesting to your point of like, I try to do my own, and I am terrible at it.
Yeah, and it's so funny to hear you say those rules. I hear like my graphic design professor in college
Mm-hmm.
like saying some of those same things, and I guess part of me has always had this like rebellious streak in me. If you tell me that there are rules, I will question them all.
Sure.
And
Me too.
That's
but
part,
then you
I
look
think-
at it and you're like, yeah, this is way better when I
Sometimes
listened.
that's how you get great art, though. You have to break a lot of the rules.
Right.
That's
and
right.
That's the way I
That's
approach
Picasso,
music. It's
right?
like there's
Picasso
no reason
said, learn the rules
You
so you
learn
know how
them,
to
then you
break them.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for me, when I was growing up, I learned how to play piano and I learned how to play flute. So I was like doing music when I was younger, but I never stuck with it. The thing that like I loved it, but I never stuck
Mm-hmm.
enough with practicing. And I think I gravitated towards the arts because it was more tactile.
Yeah.
I could physically feel myself making something in the moment. Whereas
Yes.
music, it is so much more ephemeral and in your mind and in the moment, and
Mm-hmm.
it leaves you. But I think for the visual arts too, when it becomes something more solid is when people react to it.
Sure.
I think just like with music, you make it for yourself in a way because you have to, but it becomes so much more powerful to see other people react to it
Yeah.
and see how it impacts people and see like what they take from it too. You have to kind of let it go, and then it
Yes.
changes, and then you don't really have control over how people interpret your art
Sure.
when it's away from you,
That's-
and that's another fascinating part of
It's
being
so
a
brilliant
creator.
to hear you say that, because I literally, that is how I would describe, music, but also visual art. Like, I feel like, Brian Wilson does a really great job of explaining, like, when people asked him, like, where do these harmonies and counterpoints come from? He was like, it's just, like, it builds up inside me and it's an explosion of my soul. I'm like, I would feel like a visual artist would probably say, or even like a choreographer, like, it would say that all of these things come out of your soul. Like, they come out of some other ephemeral or existential,
Absolutely.
dimension.
Sure.
And I don't know that anybody can quite put their finger on that. And I felt the same way about music and like my own music. And I've seen, I guess I've been fortunate enough to have seen, once you let something go, once you let it go out in the wild, like the meaning behind the lyrics that I put behind the song suddenly take a back seat to the meaning that gets projected by the experience or the season of life
Yeah.
that your listener is in. And something that you intended to be like a very, kind of introspective love song becomes a song of like hope. Like, I hope to find this love someday.
Yeah.
I'm not there right
Yeah.
now, and I'm going through this time of transition, but I hope to
Yeah.
find this place
Mhm.
that's being described,
Yeah. Well, on that point, I had a musician talk about a song they wrote that was about the end of a marriage, a breakup. And they were like, it's astonishing how someone comes up to me after a set and was like, that song you wrote about when your dog died meant a lot to me. And then the next person come up like, when you walked out on your dad because he was a bad person, that was a beautiful song and it means a lot to me. And she's like, it's about my divorce, but but because it meant that to them, and it's now this deep and meaningful thing because it was what they needed to hear.
Yeah.
It's this lens that they had into the song, and the emotions are still genuine, but yet the art allowed them to navigate to it in completely different pathways.
And it becomes the thing that people need the most in those moments.
Yes.
You kind of create a living thing
Totally.
because then everyone else gets to like turn it into what they need.
Absolutely.
And I think that's part of the power of art and
Yeah.
music. It's not stagnant. It's
Yeah.
like forever changing as people interpret it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't think there's anything more rewarding than like having the interpretations of your listeners or your viewers, come back with that feedback, because suddenly it's very little to do with you, and you've just contributed something back to the fabric of humanity, and then you get to sort of live that experience through them in a way, and that's I don't know how to describe how beautiful it is.
Well, and I think for me too, like there's a way in which, if you want to create, you could just create for yourself. Like you could just play music for yourself. I could just sculpt and keep it on a shelf in my house and like just do it for the sake of doing it. But there's something about like affecting people with what you make and how you see the world and how you interpret it. I think that's like the beauty and power of being an artist. That's like why you share it out to the world, is to see how it affects people. Like I always feel like if I make something and someone sees it and they have no emotional reaction, that I've failed. That it's like, why did I want people to react somehow, and so I have an intent behind it a lot of the times, like how I feel, how I'm trying to project this to you, but everyone takes it in a different way. But as long as you have an emotion, then I feel like I've succeeded in my creation.
No, you're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
My favorite part about art, any kind, is, and someone helped me kind of put it into words, and they were just talking about how the purpose of art is to create a pure moment, which sounds interesting in and of itself, but they went on to talk about that it's basically, they called a pure moment one in which you're 100% present, that you're not worrying about what's happening next. And what it is you're giving over control to the artist. And so the other things that happen in these moments is nobody's talking. So for a musician, it could be a free performance in a restaurant, and then suddenly every person sitting there, they were talking and tinking glasses, and all of a sudden it goes dead quiet because this song is drawing them all in. And I don't know how or why that happens. I had a neurologist on one time who also is a musician, and I was like, why does it happen? He goes, I don't know, but I love it too. and the thing is, the same song in the same venue could not do it the next day. It's also like this captured lightning in a bottle moment in time, and it has happened enough times for me, but the first time or second time I was like, man, that is such a magical thing, and like I just want to find those moments, and that's why Musicfest is such a draw for me, because you have so many moments to try and make it happen. And so I'm just always like, this is amazing. And where it can happen obviously in music is it can also happen in art, visual art as well, because when you talk about how the not only the emotions of a piece, but how it's designed in such a way that they're in control of where your eyes are going. And so they're taking you through the story of this still image because of what they did, and you don't even know it's happening. And I think that's just those are the moments where you're just like, you see somebody, again, either listening to a piece of music, watching a dance piece, or looking at a framed piece of art, and just in absolute like gobsmacked awe. And I just think that's awesome. Like, I'm just always like, amazing. Like, so that's what I'm often in search of when it comes to art, and it speaks to some of these same things that you've both been talking about, where it's like the artist is at the peak of their powers and at just mastering this brief moment in time and taking you on a journey of their story or their art, their beauty.
And in a way, then, like, the visual arts can be just as ephemeral as music in a
Definitely.
way, because it's not so much about just the existence of the physical piece. It's the moment that the person has, or the moment that someone's going to be enraptured by it, and that's not going to be a forever thing. Sometimes people just, they might walk past a piece of art and not even notice it, and for another, they'll sit in front of it and like feel it inside of themselves in that moment.
That's why I highly recommend you ever go to a museum, buy the little audio tour, or even,
yeah.
if you have the means, hire the art historian who can take you around that museum and show you and point out things to you that would make a piece that you otherwise would have walked by, that it now became your favorite piece ever because you now understand a little bit of the story behind it, and then even just the other thing I found amazing was like the moment in time that it was created. So it was like, this was the first time that ever happened.
Yeah.
And so now we look back on it and it's something from like the 1600s and you're like, oh, it's just this cool piece. But then you realize no one had ever represented that image that way before, or used that color before, or whatever, and you're like, wow.
I have an inverse way that I like to do things when I go to museums, where actually I don't like to get the audio guide or like read the signage first going through, because I want to just be impacted by the visual. I want to see how I feel just seeing it, because it is visual art, and I just want to like make my own interpretation and my own story.
You almost don't want to be tainted with what the artist wants you to take out of it.
And then I want to learn about that after the fact.
Sure,
and
no, I
let
can
that
totally
kind of,
understand
like,
that.
support how I feel or how I interpreted it, and let them come together.
Yeah.
That's why somebody told me once that I should put, like, I could put little meanings behind, like, what the songs were, like, on a record and things like that. And even on records, when I put lyrics in, like, I'll leave the lyrics and I won't put the story. And that's where the lyric plots stage is really, really good. Like, if you want to see a singer-songwriter, be a singer-songwriter, you have an opportunity to have a conversation, to let people in a little bit, but that... It's kind of, with visual arts, I always think, and I'm curious what you think of this, I always looked at it kind of like, Bob Ross illustrates this really well, because he just starts on an empty canvas, he's doing something in the course of like whatever his hour TV show was, but there's layer after layer after layer, and just when you think like, oh, okay, I know what he's doing with this, he covers up this beautiful part of the art that he just created to put other
I remember as
shapes
a kid going like, you just ruined it. Wait, no. Well, it's
there it
amazing.
is. Exactly. So then I think of that, from a music producer standpoint, like when I'm creating a mix for an artist or something like that, it's the same, it's kind of the same idea. Like there's layers and there's depth that only the artist is aware of. Like that only like how you got there. It's not like you just started drawing all the colors like, oh, like this is going to start blending here. Like it can't work that way. So I wonder.
Yeah, there's like process. Process is a part of it that you don't see. You don't see the layering. You don't see all the levels that it went through, the changes that it went through, or like all the different. At least like now it's different in the world of like Instagram and like the social media of it all. So many artists like posting their videos of the process. You can actually see that and like watch someone do a painting start to finish, which is interesting to think about that change.
I think it Smells Like Teen Spirit that they layered the guitars in that song. Kurt Cobain's guitars 3 times, but not layered sounding beautiful. They actually are deliberately dissonant, I guess, is they went like the actual melody and then a half step flat and a half step sharp.
Yes.
So it actually sounds bad on purpose. And you don't know, and it's almost to kind of create...
huge.
Correct. And then, but I also think it's somewhat to create this element of confusion or like, am I even hearing that right or whatever?
Yeah.
But I was 17. I was like, I just thought it kicked ass. Like I didn't. But now to back to the point of learning that after the fact, I'm just like, that's why it sounds so interesting.
It adds to it. I think to experience it the way they want. They don't want you to maybe like see behind the curtain and know the bells and whistles of how you did it. They just want you to feel what they're trying to get you to feel. But then it roots in you in a different way when you understand what they were doing, or when you get to see behind the curtains and see the mechanics of how it's being made.
And some of that I think is also why, and we could spend probably an hour on this, but like the way that you can listen to a band's studio recording and it's amazing, and you go see them live and it's flat because it's like it was a little bit overproduced. But if they can produce that sound or make it even better, that's what a lot of bands I end up falling in love with are. They're even better live than they were in the studio.
Yes.
Whether it was because they recorded it like, one track at a time or whatever. Like a lot of times I'll check something after the fact, and my favorite albums are ones that were recorded where they were all in the room at the same time. So not a live recording, but a live studio recording.
Huge considerations that a lot of musicians are actually going back to that. My band included, like the rhythm section comes together and the only overdubs are like, the final vocal track or something like that, because there's a pocket that you can capture.
And you can capture some of that
energy
magic of the
and
the
sometimes
non-verbal communications and
you're almost getting some of the benefit of the live performance. I've always been fascinated to study like the old studios of old, like Stax Records, the Sound of Philadelphia, Hitsville, Motown. Like,
Sure.
I love looking at like how they layered things, how they put things together,
Yeah.
how they use different studio tricks to sort of fill out the sound, because it really, it's a lot of that is coming full circle, because now with digital recording and everybody can pretty much have access to
Right.
it, the creativity is sort
It's
of
so
coming
true.
back to sort of experimenting with like, how can I put these sounds together in a new or a fresh way, kind of paying homage to that foundation that was created 50, 60, 70 years ago, but also like with a new age flair to
Yep.
it. And that is super, what is a great time to be alive.
Mhm.
Great
No,
time to be
no,
alive.
it's
Because
very
artists
true.
have unparalleled, I think, creativity and creative control over their own music now. You don't
And
have to go to New
distribution,
York.
one of the positives of streaming is you can get your song out there.
Exactly.
It will not make you a nickel, well, it might make
Yeah.
you a nickel, but that's about it. But the thing is, now there's ways to get your song out and heard
Right.
in a way that was never there before. So that's what I think is one of the joys of the. I think I heard somebody talk about it recently that said there's a same amount of music released daily that was released the entire year of 1983 or something like that. So not even that long ago.
Yeah, I believe that.
But
That's
they're-
wild.
Yeah, and I might have some of that wrong. It might be weekly, whatever. But it's not exactly even close by orders of operation. But thank you for that chat. That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
And we could keep
I know,
going.
it
We could keep doing this.
That happened yesterday. I was like, George, let's talk about you and have you play. And he's like, no, let's go back to this conversation. It's a much more interesting thing. But we do want to make sure we promote everything. So this will make sense. Mallory, we're going to talk about you first. We're going to go into the picks of the day, and then we'll come back to you, Bobby. So, Mallory,
All right, hi.
welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So if I understand it right, this process is you get picked like a year ago.
Yes.
And
yeah.
then you get, the only requirement is that you've been to the festival.
I mean,
Well, you have to be an artist, but like,
They didn't explicitly state that, but I would assume yes. Or
Yeah.
like also to have a connection with like Bethlehem
Sure.
and the music festival.
Yeah.
As far as I know, the last there was a panel on Thursday where all the past music
Yeah.
artists from 2019 till now
So cool.
got together and we chatted, and they all, even if they don't all live in Bethlehem, because I don't live here anymore,
Right.
like we have a rooted connection
Yes.
to it. Grew up here, we're from here.
yeah.
Something
And
like that.
speaking of roots, let's bring
Yeah.
this gorgeous image up. And here's the other thing too. If it looks fuzzy, it's because it's a three-dimensional piece.
And it actually is fuzzy. It's
Yes.
all wool.
And it's all fabric, exactly. So like, it's one of these things where you really want to see it in person, and it's up on display.
It is. It is on display at the Arts Quest Center, right outside of the Frank Banco cinemas. So it's right on the wall.
Yeah,
of the
so if you're on
screen, so-
Southside, I mean, the cinemas are a great place to check some music out. Obviously, you have the Town Square stage, you have the Steel Stack stage, America Platz. And so while you're there, pop in and look at this thing, because it'll give you a whole new appreciation than even just this amazing thing. And Bobby, you were commenting and complimenting how it really captured a lot of what Bethlehem is all about.
Thank you so much for saying that, because
Yeah.
I grew up here and spent, my whole life here until I went off to school, and I really like this town is beautiful.
Sure.
And, like the history of it, the history of the Moravians, and I went to Moravian school for like my whole school career.
Nice.
Elementary through high school, and being connected with Arts Quest and spending so much time around the steel stacks and at the Banana Factory, which I snuck in there because I wanted it to be represented, because it's
Yes.
now it's gone, that building's gone, but it's making way for bigger and better things. But I did love that building and grow up in it, essentially. So I
So
wanted it
cool.
to be a part of the poster.
I love the visual arts studios that were in that building. I saw it was so fascinating. I was like, wow, what a cool maker space for visual
Yeah.
arts. It
Yeah.
doesn't always get talked about as much, because I feel like it's not always as shiny as like the music piece, because people will come
Sure.
out for performances with the lawn chairs
But
and whatnot. But like these visual artists were creating masterpieces in all of that's backyard.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I bet it's coming back. That new space they're going to build should be
It looks
incredible.
It's going to
Yeah.
be beautiful,
Really-
and there's going to be even more.
And it
artist
would have been
studios
here
and more
already,
spaces.
but not for the pandemic. I mean, the pandemic was when it was going to start, and they had all their funding. But there is some benefits to delay in that you have new technology or new stuff that can be factored in. So they've only just plussed it from what it was before. So maybe, all things happen for a reason, and maybe this will be an even better space as a result. So you mentioned before, kind of started out with some music and the visual arts, but stuck with the visual arts. You like the tactile, clearly.
Yes.
And we mentioned before, you went to Pratt. So how did that kind of part of your journey go?
I went to Pratt and I studied fashion design there because I initially thought I wanted to do fashion, but I wanted to do like art fashion. I wanted to do wearable sculpture, but I really got very intensely into making my own textiles, embellishing them, creating them by hand. And when I graduated, I realized I didn't really want to work in the fashion industry.
Sure.
I wanted
It's a tough one.
It's a really tough one, and I wanted to make my own work and make my own art. So I kind of pivoted into textile art and using the skills I learned to create sculpture. And then I'm doing a lot of arts education work that I started doing with Arts Quest after I graduated. So they really also helped me kind of like launch the part of the career that I have today as an arts educator, leading community art programs.
That's really cool.
In this area in upstate New York and kind of around the Northeast. So I owe a large debt of gratitude to Arts Quest. They didn't make me say that. I say that of my own free will because I really do.
It's true. I feel like I say that every year too. We're so lucky to have that culture and that organization right in our backyard. Like it's
incredibly lucky. I feel like to me, they feel like a large part of what helped, keep Bethlehem vibrant and lively after Bethlehem Steel closed down. There's a lot of parts to it, but like I think the arts are a way that sometimes like dead spaces can kind of come back to life.
Absolutely. I'm just going to bring this up real quick. You also inspired. So I have two daughters that go to Pratt. One graduated with a 3D animation degree.
Oh, nice.
The other one is still there as a junior. She'll be a junior this coming fall. She's studying actually game art and design.
Cool.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's kind of 3D animation or 2D that also responds to code.
Oh, sure. For
So
the video game
and atmospheres
design.
and stuff. Yeah. So
Nice.
it's still the artwork of things, but it's aimed at the video game industry. This past year, when my older daughter graduated, that was the first year that the game design degree was a graduate. So like my daughter will be in the third ever round of that.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So my youngest, Mari, last year did this and then did it again this year. I call the preview night, the night that you were on the stage with the other designers, I call it day 0 because it's the 10 days of Musicfest. But so day 1 is that Friday. So what's Thursday? It's got to be day 0. And so last year and then this year, she used the current person's design to do her own design for me for day 0. So this is Mari's design,
awesome.
and it's somewhat
Nice.
inspired by
Yeah.
your piece. And that's what I kind of told her. I was like, for me, it's like that mile marker 0 at I think it's in like Cape May or at the beginning of the Jersey Turnpike, whatever, Garden State Park, whatever it is. I don't know. There's one there, and then I think it also is like Key Largo is mile 0 for Route 95 or whatever it is. Like it's
nice.
just that's what I always kind of view it as. Is like this is mile marker 0, day
Yeah.
0.
The
This is
very
where it all
beginning.
starts,
Yeah.
and it's a long journey
It's gotta be an orchard for
of
you.
10 straight days. Pace yourself, stay hydrated, and tune in every day at 3 to the daily live streams. And then you after graduation move into this stuff, and what else can we promote? Because you have this wonderful. Let's bring up your website.
I mean, I would love to promote / shamelessly plug the fact that I do have signed art prints of this poster for sale.
Fantastic.
And some of the prints show not just like the kind of cropped version that they use for the poster, but the actual full image
I
of
love
the
it.
textile, the roots coming off the bottom.
Yeah.
And they're all signed by me, and they're like art quality prints. Working Dog
Yep.
Press, local printer, printed them all and did a
Nice.
fabulous job. And those are for sale on my website and also at the box office.
Love it. I'm actually not going to Southside today for any music, but I'm obviously going to be there repeatedly over the next few days. When I pop in, I'll post a picture about it
Oh, awesome.
on
Thank
on
you.
the site so we can support all this. But this is MalloryZondag.com, Zondag.
Yep.
There is an Instagram page as well at Mallory Zondag, and obviously pieces are for sale.
Yes, I've got pieces.
Commissions?
Yep, I'm always open for commissions for lots of different styles of work that I do. My workshops are listed on there. Past community art programs, if you're interested.
Yay, the
in
internet's
seeing-
working.
Hey, success.
Great success.
I've got
Yeah,
all-
this is awesome.
Yeah, try to let people know all the upcoming work that I have going on, and give people a place to contact me for different programs. for
And here's the
commissions
contact page. They can reach out to you right through this. But
Yeah.
follow on Instagram. It's a great way to keep up with what you got going on.
Yeah.
And I saw a composting thing too. Is that?
That was from my senior thesis at Pratt. Actually, their masks say "compost me." It was all every piece was made out of entirely natural materials, and I did all the natural dyeing by hand because I wanted the idea of the pieces to be that they could be buried and decomposed like back into the earth, so like full cycle fashion in a way.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a fun. It was a fun piece.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then anything else we can help promote?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
We hit a bunch.
I think we hit a
We
lot.
hit a bunch.
It's really exciting to be on here to talk about my art and talk about my work. Oh, I am teaching 2 more workshops at the fest. There's actually one happening today, 3:30 to 5:30 at the craft tent for making needle felted moths and butterflies. Wednesday, 3:30 to 5 for flowers. So if you want to come and experience a little bit of how I made the poster this year and learn that art form, that's happening at the craft tent.
Fantastic.
Where's the craft tent now?
It's down below Hotel Bethlehem. Familian Platz, I think is what it's
Yeah,
called.
or it used to be called Handwork Plots. It's probably it's around where the kids section is and like
Yeah.
where the vendors are.
Yeah, like the artisan tents.
Near the
It's like-
blacksmith building.
Yes.
I gotcha. So not quite where the old Volkswagen used to be. But,
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, short of that. That's now become cast in bronze plots.
Oh,
Do you know
nice.
cast in bronze?
I do.
It's so fun.
Yeah, they are a heck of a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So Familian Plots has moved around a whole
It
bunch.
has.
of
It absolutely has.
Yeah.
So before we get to Bobby, I wanted to kind of share our picks of the plots. This is basically what we try and do each day is give you 5 to look at. A lot of people have said, hey, I'm going down. I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't know these bands. Which ones are original music? Which ones are cover bands? Do I like it, not like it, whatever. So we just started coming up with, well, here's the 5 we recommend. And we bubble, well, normally it's 1. Normally it's 1 that's a fave of the day and then 4 others to put onto your list. I couldn't pick, and this is the second time it happened. It happened Friday as well. And I said to myself, why am I tying myself into a pretzel? Who came up with this rule? I did. And it's my show.
Break it.
I can
We were
change
just
it.
talking
Right,
about
I made
break
the
the
rules,
rule.
and then I'm breaking my own rule. But I still did hold myself accountable to one thing. It's only because these 2 that I absolutely are so looking forward to are back-to-back. So on the same stage, 6 and 7:30, so you can watch one play from 6 to 7, go get some food or a beer or whatever, come back for the second one at 7:30, and you don't have to move around. You can be right there and super chill. And so then after that, so anyway, the 2 that does is Kahone Concept. Never heard of them before. They've been like one of my favorite like new finds from this year's lineup. This will be the first time I'm ever seeing them perform, but we'll play a song of theirs in a second. Slingshot Dakota, hometown headliner. Huge, great story to them. I mean, not only is their music kick-ass, and they are this adorable couple, but like they're way more famous than we even realize. Like, and when you start looking into it, they were in Rolling Stone magazine years ago. She's won an Emmy for a piece she wrote for The Simpsons.
Nice.
Like all these things that they don't brag about, but they are just. And on top of all of that, they're incredibly awesome humans.
Yes.
Carly actually scored my daughter's 3D animation thesis.
Really?
That was her senior thesis for Pratt.
Nice.
Because it was cute. She came to me and she was like, hey, I don't really want to use pre-recorded music. One, it's like I got to be held to their, like, you know, the flow of their song. And it's copyright infringement. I was like, well, you're a student. They're not going to come after you. You're making 0 money off of this. You're going to give them credit. And she's like, yeah, but I want to tell this story. And I was like, all right, well, I know some people who, and I played like some music for her. And then also I was just like, let's just reach out to Carly. And she's like, oh, I do this all the time. This would be great to work with, you know, a young woman who's trying to become, you know, successful in the art industry. And she's got this beautiful story to tell. And so Carly scored the whole thing. And
That's so
and I said to Carly, I was like, treat it like it's a real, like teach her what it would be like for her to do that. I said, so tell her, like, this is how you interact with a musician to score your piece.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And that was cool. It was just like a great learning experience on top of all this other stuff.
That's really cool.
And the piece actually won one of the awards at Best of.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, where it was like all the senior 2D and 3D movies were on display from that year's graduating class at Pratt. So we got to go watch it in a movie theater on a big screen
That's
with
so
like
cool.
That's
15 other pieces. It was such a cool moment. I was like, I don't even need to go to graduation. This is the proudest
this is
moment
your
of my life.
graduation.
Exactly.
I was like, don't worry, I'll still go because it's at Radio City Music Hall.
That is cool to get
That
to
is
walk
a
the
super
stage at
cool
Radio
thing.
City. That's fun.
But anyway,
We don't get it,
so yeah, let's play some music here. So the first one is that band Kahone Concept. They're from Pittsburgh. I tell the story. I told it on the Exordium where I was. Actually, let me even show you that. This was the Exordium is where Patrick Brogan, who's the chief programming officer of Arts Quest, myself and my former co-host David Moore, we all get together and each pick in a private ballot almost 9 bands, 3 that have been on the show before. Because actually there were 32 bands on the lineup this year that have been interviewed on our show before. Nice. How about that? So 3 each from that group of 32, and then 6 each from the remainder of people we either don't know or have never heard before. And so you can see here in my list in the middle there, Kahone Concept was one of my 6. And so I'm super pumped to see that happen. And you can see I kept it to 3 colors. So what I told the story that night is his Instagram, his videos, his everything. He's very, very funny and very like goofy almost. And I'm like, this is really funny. I was thinking his music might be comedic, because also the name Kahone Concept, like the whole thing is just like silly. And I was like, I didn't know whether I should or shouldn't take his music seriously. And the way I listen to the playlist we build is 2 songs from every band on the lineup. And so I just put it on shuffle. It's somewhere between 24 and 28 hours long. And it's just how I get ready for the festival is I play on shuffle, and whatever song catches my ear, I'm like, oh, who's that? And then I kind of make a little note and I put it back down. Oh, who's that? And it kept coming up that his music kept coming up. I was
that
like,
was the one that kept
he's
grabbing you.
really awesome. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, he's just also really funny, but he's a legit musician. So let's take a listen to his song called Amicably.
And this is how a man creates himself. He builds a wall, and then she knocks it down across the board. This game, it don't seem bad. Then you find out I am nothing but a heart attack. I understand where you're coming from, baby, but I just feel like I've been lying to me lately. It's not your fault, it's just things are in my head, in my head, in my head, in my head. I'm not a trend, and this is overkill. Let's not pretend that there is more to this.
You can see some of the silliness in there. In fact, the title of this on his YouTube page is "I shot this video myself in my living room." Not
seriously,
not amicably. Like so.
I wish I could shoot myself in the living room looking that good. Jeez, I was like, I need to know who shot this music video.
Work.
He did it.
Actually doing it
really
yourself.
good.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
It's like Bo Burnham's Inside. That's just like, how do you get those angles? How are you getting that quality? That's good.
So. And then just song after song I've just really been super into. And again, there's a lot of layering going on in there, so we'll see. There's always a part of me that's like, I gotta see it live too. But I just have a feeling he's gonna be dynamite.
I am obsessed with that sound.
Yes.
Like,
I knew you would love this one.
Synth sound,
right.
Like,
when I saw this one,
Simmons
I was like, oh,
thank.
When you picked to be on this day, I was like, Bobby's gonna love this band.
Oh my
Sadly,
God.
you're on at this like same exact time. You're on today at 5:30.
And he's on
at 6.
That figures.
Yeah. It's such a shame.
I'm gonna have to go swing by after the workshop and check it out now.
That's
great.
Isn't he awesome?
Can't complain if anybody skips my show to go see that one.
So yeah, 6 o'clock on Platz. That's the stage that overlooks the south. It's on the north side, overlooking the river, and south side. It's the most beautiful stage, and it has great acoustics and all that good stuff. Let's also play Slingshot Dakota. I know we're running short on time, so let's move this along a little bit. Slingy D. This is their song called "You." I'm smiling listening to Slingshot Dakota.
Gosh, yeah.
It's basically hard rock through a keyboard,
Yeah.
She's doing all of that sound, the effects pedals. If you're not watching on YouTube or on the video, it's 2 people. It's her on keyboard and vocals and Tom on drums, and that's it.
That's what I
That
love
sounds
about her
like
sound.
40
It
people.
really does.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what, they achieved this effect. I know this one works. That's what they sound like live, if not better, like we talked about before. And I always say, find yourself who loves you the way Tom loves drumming, and Carly. Like, it's just such joy and awesome. It's just so cool. Amazing. So Slingy D, definitely not to be missed. We're going to quickly rip through the other 3 here. Lia Menaker is from Philly. She has this song called These Dog Days. Yes.
The sun came out and melted on my popsicle today. My bike is made of lemon wheels, and so it just keeps slipping on banana peels. And
She's so good. She's very often like a featured artist brought in by another performer, and then has her own music, and it's stunning. I've not seen her perform live, but I know of her because she's a Philly performer. Just getting more and more obviously familiar with that scene. Can't wait to see her. I love when I see the Philly artists coming up to the Musicfest as well.
Her
Yeah.
sound is wonderful.
She's so good. Great vocals
Such a
too.
sucker for a soft pace, and then she's got this perfect, like, rich tone to complement like what she's doing. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And she wrote this. This was that last year's WXPN 24-hour songwriting challenge. Do you know about that?
Oh.
So WXPN down in Philly is a radio station, and I think it's May. They release a prompt, and you have 24 hours to submit a song that matches the prompt. And it's something like Sunshine. Like, it's not like, anything too deep. It's pretty, general. And so this was her submission last year. And I just got there, like, okay, you wrote this in 24 hours. Like, what the what? So yeah, she's performing actually right now. She started about 6 minutes ago, and that's someone I'm trying to get to. So that's another reason why I'm trying to speed this up. Let's just go right into the next one. Seth Witcher, another awesome local guy. He's trying to make it work in Nashville now as well as. So I'm going to play this one. Not only do I think it's awesome, it's called Nightmares. It's 90 seconds long. So it's somewhat embracing that TikTokification of things. But he does write full-length songs and is awesome. I think Seth is an incredible artist. I'm realizing this is very much a hometown headliner day. Slingshot, Seth, Chasing Daylight. You can see all of them on the stages today. I love his vocals. Do you know Seth at all?
I don't. I'm realizing I'm like, it's so many incredible musicians coming out of the Lehigh Valley, like that there's so many locals headlining this. That's kind of wild to think about. The Valley's big, but to have that many incredible musicians, it's just one day.
Insanely
The
lucky
best.
here.
Yep.
It's really a
Crazy.
hotbed of creativity.
And I didn't think I was actually going to cut this one short, but again, just in the sake of time, here comes Chasing Daylight with their cover of... Coldplay's Adventure. And I picked this one on purpose because today is your Chasing Daylight set.
Yep.
And tomorrow night is the Up and Up Coldplay tribute set.
Yep.
I'm guessing you'll probably cover Coldplay today too.
We're just doing one surprise Coldplay
One
song.
surprise
just
Coldplay
to
song
tease people,
to
but
tease
we
it out
didn't
and also
spoil it.
promote it. We're going to help promote both of them right here. So today, like we talked about, 5:30 on later Platz, and then tomorrow night is 9:30 in Zinzin.
Yeah, 9 o'clock is it.
9 o'clock at Zinzin. So it's a cool set too to be like, I'm going to draw it.
So excited.
Yeah.
We're so excited. We've been hard at work at the school tribute for a while. I think I would have still done it had I known the amount of work that has to go in to cover Coldplay. But
Sure.
It's
Sure.
It nearly broke us all. I mean, 3 keyboards, a laptop to control specific MIDI sounds, and then like 2 guitars, a bass, and drums. It requires literally everyone to cover all the layers that they put into their music. But we're really excited. We've added about 7 or 8 new of their really popular tunes to that, even from what we had last year. We have a solid 2-hour set of all that Coldplay energy for tomorrow. We're really excited about that.
Nice.
love that part. Bang
Yeah.
on the bottom of the piano. It's like your inner 3-year-old's dream. All I want to do is just bang on the keyboard.
And if I just did that, it would just sound like pure noise.
It would
not
fit
sound
right
like
there.
music.
You can do whatever you want.
Awesome. So what else can we kind of promote? So we've got the performance today, the performance tomorrow. What else is coming up in the fall?
Oh my gosh. Well, actually, after we have only one tentative Coldplay tribute show, and then we're done. Musifkest was kind of our last Coldplay tribute for the year.
Got it.
But we're working on next year. We've been building this over the last couple of years. So we have a couple. We've been trying to get into like local theaters and like regional theaters,
Sure.
like, all around like the tri-state
Yeah,
area
yeah, yeah.
and things like that. And we have a couple really exciting
Irons in the
things.
fire.
Yeah, and I wish I could say more about them, but I can't.
Listen, when you're ready to break news, we'll be here.
Yes. So yeah, we're really excited about that. As far as we've got a normal gig schedule coming up after this. We're a couple more band gigs for the fall. I'll be back at doing like I do a lot of solo stuff at the wineries and things like
Absolutely.
that, which is where the R&B soul pop stuff really just kind of hits people. It's a really nice vibe.
And it's
nice
Chasing
place to do.
Daylight official everywhere.
Chasing Daylight official everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Awesome.
almost everywhere.
Yeah, because there is other references to Chasing Daylight, so this helps it be
Yes.
the Bobby Siegfried chase of the daylight.
Yes.
And
it
I will
helps
say,
get my name out of it.
yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't pick one of your songs because I think I actually like your music better than Coldplay's music. So
thank you.
I think that people need to check out the catalog. I think they need to come and see a live performance. Whether it is solo with the group or again the tribute stuff, I just think it's all great. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. We've tried to
kudos
do
to
that very
you.
specifically. There's other bands that I've like grown up listening to. Like there's a local band called Mahoney Brothers that they do a phenomenal Beatles tribute, like, right down to they study their body language and when they perform. But they're a country band, so they've done their own music and country and whatever, and they've been very successful at both. And I was like, well, this is perfect. I mean, we love the energy of Coldplay. Like the reason why I've tried to get away from my name and try and really get Chasing Daylight is because it's really a collective. It's an experience. It's a collaborative experience, and we're greater together.
Yes.
And our whole, I guess, mantra. We want to start a movement. We want people to be better to each other. So our
you say that pretty
line
much
is
at the
be
end of
good
it.
to each other
Yeah.
is what if that's the only thing people remember from our shows. That's what we really want to promote. So. That's why we wanted to do the Coldplay tribute so badly, because they have that energy. They have that, they want to spread love. They want people to be better. They want people to remember their humanity and remember to humanize each other again. And then the R&B, indie, soul, pop stuff is just, I mean, I grew up listening to Motown and, great 60s and 70s stuff like, Stevie Wonder, Curtis Mayfield, Earth, Wind & Fire.
Well, and you heard me kind of describe, I think you have a performance piece in you, if you're not already working on one. But like I listen to your music and it's on par with like Dear Evan Hansen, like that kind of music. So I think you dial that a little bit in that direction and you'll have a whole, Broadway style piece.
I'll just say thank you. I don't know how to accept that compliment. Thank you.
No, it's true. I say that to other people. So it's not me making that up in this moment. I've talked about about your music in that way. Like when you just listen to Hold On, or you listen to just all of the different songs. Like there's so much there. There's so much emotion and story in them that you're like, I want to see somebody perform this on a stage.
Yes, and thank you. I will make sure that I perform a few of those on stage. Sadly, I've gotten away from some of that earlier stuff because I really dove into more of the R&B soul stuff, and that was more like I was into piano rock.
Yeah.
Like for a while, it was cool. It was only cool to play guitar. So I'm a piano player in college, and like, who cares?
Yeah. Well,
like,
when we
the only
did
person that did that was like Andrew McMahon and
Yeah.
something corporate. So I'm like, he gave me hope. I'm like, okay, I can do piano rock too.
Yeah.
Ben Folds can do this. I can do this too.
It's funny, like with Gerard Longo, we did a collective, we each picked people to be part of a songwriters round. And it's normally always acoustic guitars. But he wanted to make sure you were on that lineup. I was making sure Carly Commander was on that lineup. So we were like, cool, you have a set and I have a set, and we're going to need a keyboard on stage in both cases.
It was great. That was such a cool experience.
It was a very cool experience.
So yeah, I promise we are working really hard. We have a 4-song EP that we started recording about 2 years ago, and we
So I believe we might have lost. We don't have all of that interview. The problem is I don't know where it got lost. See if I can get us back on.
That was our second time doing that. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It's the earliest gig of the year.
And then, yeah, so take us back a little bit to like pre-Powder Valley Bang. Let's start with you, Matt. Like, where did music kind of grab a hold of your brain and not let go?
Music is one of the oldest things I remember. My dad used to drive these old beat-up vans and blast the radio when we drive around, and we'd be hanging out. He always had rock music on, and he would, I guess, kind of following him, listening, watching him be happy, singing these rock songs he loves, and turning the radio. Like, he's the kind of guy who'll like get home, and if there's a good song on, he'll turn it up and wait till it's over till he goes inside.
Yeah.
So we would do stuff like that and so listening to the radio, listening to his CDs, made me want to play music. And then one of his childhood best friends is a drummer who played in the Lehigh Valley for over 30 years. And I went to see them play when I was 5 or 6 at a backyard party. And I was like, that's it. And then I kept talking about music and guitars till I was 9. And then I was like, Dad, I want to play electric guitar. And he told me I had to learn on the acoustic guitar for a year to prove that I would be committed to it before he bought me an electric guitar. And then when I was 10 for Christmas, I remember getting an electric guitar, and that was when I knew, like, life is good. Life's gonna turn out okay. I got a guitar.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about.
That's awesome.
So I think music has always been there. Classic rock music has always been there, but playing music started at 10, and then I took lessons till I was at least 18. But then in high school, I started to meet other musicians and play more. So it got better when I met other people who did the same thing. And I was like, whoa, then you have those, that's where I started to feel like I experienced these golden moments with other people where it's like, this is awesome. They live in my brain. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 21, I started actually performing locally at bars and stuff. And him and I have been friends since we were kids, but we never really played music together growing up. And I saw him around and was like, hey, let's jam soon. And then we started jamming. And then since then, we've done the whole Powder Valley Bang thing. So, awesome. But I'll let him jump in.
Yeah, Ian, let's hear about your kind of journey.
So, it was kind of the same thing as Matt, from a young age. My dad would always have this rock and roll music on. And,
Yep.
My dad, fortunately, got to grow up with a lot of it.
Sure.
He graduated high school in 72, so he would show me all this kind of music, and I got really into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am one of 5 kids, and the 3 of us boys, we were like, kind of wanted to play guitar.
Sure.
So I'd pick it up every once in a while, and it just never.
You could have been the next Hanson.
It never really clicked. And funny enough, the movie School of Rock comes out.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the one scene where he's like, that big thing you played, the cello. Mm-hmm. He's like, you turn it on its side, cello. You got a bass. And I don't know why that just kind of clicked in my head. And I was like, I think I'm gonna be a bass player.
Jack Black did it all.
And then once so I was probably in 4th or 5th grade around that time. And then middle school, my dad sent me out to the Paul Green School of Rock out in Philadelphia. It's not there still is the School of Rock now.
Sure.
But it's Paul Green is not behind it anymore.
Got it.
And funny enough, said Jenny Fallon, she'll be
Yeah.
on the show
Yeah.
tomorrow, you said?
Yeah, Tuesday.
I believe actually she was an all-star at
Right.
that same establishment. We just, didn't know each other.
Right,
and,
yeah.
and whatnot. And,
But she is an all-star, but
Yeah, oh yeah.
glad she got the official title.
Ruby Deer is one of my favorite bands to go see next door at the Funhouse
Yep.
whenever they come around.
Yeah.
And, so in middle school, I got to play all these cool places like the World Cafe Live, and Johnny Brenda's and
Yeah.
whatnot. So, that was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
But, once high school came around, I didn't really play at all.
Mm-hmm.
Then graduated, and then around 21, I was going to see this guy, like he said.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, man, I'm a bass player, and he was like, let's jam, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
that turned into a band.
The amount of times that's just how it flows, that the universe kind of drops it there.
Yeah.
It's like so cool.
But I always craved getting back up on stage and
Yep.
playing with a band, because you can only play bass in your room for so long.
Right, yeah.
At least for me.
No, I know
till
what
I
you mean.
get bored.
It's an element to a song. It's
Yeah.
typically not its own thing. I mean, Les Claypool will tell you otherwise, but
Yeah, I'm a rhythm guy.
yeah, it is. It's a rhythm section. Yeah.
Don't tell me to play bass solo. 'Cause
He won't.
For one, I won't, and two, I can't.
Let's just go with won't. Then no one needs to know.
Right on.
Yeah.
So for me and Ian, we had the connection. Like we grew up in Macungie together, riding bikes around. So like we were always friends. In high school we were in different circles, but we were never not friends. We just and then but at right around that 21, right before we were 22, I was living at my dad's house, and I lived in the attic, and I invited him to come over and jam, and it was the middle of I think then it was the middle of winter when we first started playing. But then, we played some songs together, we wrote some songs together, and then I think that spring my dad had a backyard cookout, and I was like, let's play. So we played a few songs, and that was the first time we really performed together, and then we kept it going, and then our...
that was where the PWB Voltron was starting to come together.
Exactly. And then that summer we played at one of our friends' 4th of July fireworks shows, and we didn't have a band name at that time, so we called the set list Powder Valley Bang because it was on Powder Valley Road and it was a 4th of July fireworks show. So
fantastic.
Just like that, in the moment I was like, Powder Valley Bang, and then I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But we didn't go with that as the band name right away. We actually went with this name Van Gogh, which was a band I was in high school with one of my other high school childhood friends. So when him and I started playing in a band, what was it, for like the first year or two, maybe locally, we performed as Van Gogh. And one of our biggest shows was at the Funhouse, only because to us that was like a show. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I remember we might have even still been Van Gogh at the time. We were excited to get a show at the Funhouse during Musicfest.
Yeah.
Not even at Musicfest. We're just like, we're gonna play during Musicfest. And then where we're
But that is still a cool element of the community, is you do have the festival going on, but then pretty much every bar venue type spot is also putting people on, and the wooden match is a big deal, because it's right there. It's very, very cool what the way the rest of the community kind of buys in. And ArtsQuest is somewhat cool. Even my show, here I am setting up in Godfrey Daniels, and I was like, are you guys okay with this? And they're like, yeah, we love it. And I'm like, that's so awesome.
This is a great venue.
Yeah.
Right? This is an awesome place.
It really is. Yeah.
And going back to what they were saying before about the area, it's just serendipitous, I guess, in our circumstance. But when we started playing music, we just started where we were with what we had.
Yep.
Him and I were just rock and roll guys. We're not super fancy. We don't know many technical stuff. We try to learn and grow, but if someone gets too technical, we're like, Ian's like, this isn't the blues scale, man. So
you guys are counting to 6
Yeah.
and 8. What?
and I'm like, you guys
Count
are
to 4.
I'm like, you guys are counting. I'm just feeling it.
Yeah.
So, I never all these things. Not to sound cliche, but dreams come true. I don't even care if they're these local dreams. I don't.
Sure.
Because I'm tied to the Lehigh Valley, and I like being here. But just getting on stage and playing, that's enough of a dream. Most people don't even get that. Some people don't even get that far. The fact that we've been able to do what we've done all locally, from scratch essentially, we've made a lot of great connections with people, a lot of great memories, and frankly, I think we're just kind of getting started. You know, we look up to people like James Supra,
Yes.
Who's the local legend, and like
Totally.
I aspire to be like that as time goes on. You know,
That's so cool. And that's the other nice part is it's not like it's a burgeoning music scene. It's been around for the point. This venue here has been here for 50 years. Dave Fry started this place, and so like 50 years here. The festival's 43 years. Like this is a music town in the same way that Austin is, in the same way that Nashville is. There's music just in the fabric of this whole community, and so it's one of these things where you can have those types of heroes and inspirations. They're there, and it's just amazing what this whole Lehigh Valley, Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton area has brought forth when it comes to all of this stuff. That there have been musicians I've had on the show who are local who said, I picked Bethlehem on purpose because of its music scene, as a place to move to.
It's a great music scene. There's so much great local talent.
Oh, absolutely.
So much.
And we started falling in love with local music because that's how we would prospect. Like we'd go out and be like, oh, like even going to the fun house. We would, when we were younger, we'd come here to see the bands, and then we would learn how to start talking. You know, I'm usually not afraid to go talk to someone, and so we'll be like, oh, I'm like, I notice everything. I'm like, that guy's the owner, and this guy books this and this.
Sure.
So like, I'm figuring all these things out, kind of crafting a way to get opportunities, you know. And then we would talk to people, and even going to see some of these like people like James Supra or people who've been performing around here forever. Just when they take a break, go talk to them and say hi.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's what we started doing. James Supra was the one who got us into WFMZ and Musicfest, and then all of a sudden, the first time we were on the news after that, Ian would walk into places, or I'd walk into. He's sometimes more recognizable. He used to have this real long hair, so people would remember his hair the most, and they'd be like, "That guy's in Powder Valley Bang." But for some reason, after the first time we were on the news, it was like everyone was like, "Oh, you guys are like a real deal." It's like, yeah, we were on the local news, man. You know.
There you go.
It's funny.
If that's the litmus test, yes, we've made it.
Because like when we first started out, I remember the one day we found a set list when we were still Van Gogh. It was a 3-hour show, and we probably had like maybe 15 songs on the set list. Somehow we made it last.
Yes.
How we did it, I don't know.
That happens
But,
at Musicfest. Often you're getting booked for a 90-minute set.
Yeah.
And I've had so many musicians be like, we don't have 90 minutes of original music.
Yeah.
So we had to practice 3 covers and throw in a couple of solos, a guitar solo or whatever, bass solo. And then and then they're like, yeah, so we filled out the 90 minutes, but they didn't know that was the booking until they got closer to the event. Like, yeah, we only have 60 minutes of original, like they have like 1 album out or maybe 2 EPs.
Yeah.
And they were like, time to work on some new stuff. It's just funny.
Yeah.
We because the way the world is today and music is so accessible, we have a heavy cover catalog too, because we like to play.
Oh, sure.
So we play our originals probably almost every show, but not all originals, because that takes time. So we sprinkle them in, we weave them around.
Oh, and there's something. So this show is all about the original music. We're not really going to bring on a cover band as anyone's next favorite band. Like the point of the theming here is this is somebody who you should be paying attention to. And so if you like this style of music, you're going to love this artist. Go check them out on streaming or whatever. So like that's what I'm trying to help with this show. However, when someone's performing, a well-executed, well-timed cover is awesome, especially at a festival. It's like, oh my gosh, that's a very cool version of that song. So it is a great thing to do. But yeah, I always want to hear people play their own music.
Yes, well, good. We do too. When like a pure music enthusiast like you know that, but I guess a lot of the general public who isn't as into music as we are, like, I guess we play songs to keep our integrity, but also to turn heads. Be like, oh, we also try to play cover songs that other bands don't really play.
That's smart,
That's
too.
what sets us apart. So
Correct.
So we'll play some deep tracks, like we play some Leonard Skinner deep tracks, and we've been working on an Aerosmith deep track, again, to turn heads and make people be like, who's that playing this song that we've never seen a band
And when you
cover.
have like the super fan of that bit, they're like, oh, I love that they played that song. That is very cool when that happens. So speaking of music, you had said you might be able to play us out here.
Sure.
So we have on the screen there, you're performing a week from now. So the next Sunday, the closing day of the festival, August 10th at 12 noon on Zinsenplatz.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure people know that. Anything else we can help promote either other shows coming up, new music, social
Just-
media handles?
I would just say follow us on social
Yeah.
media, follow the website.
Powder Valley
I
Bang.
have powdervalleybang.com. I have our full 40-minute performance from last year on Plaza Tropical. I still want to cut down some of that and make some reels to post, some
Sure.
teasers this week I might from last year's show.
Yeah, no, that's
But
smart.
We got a busy month coming up, and I would just say follow us to keep stay in touch, stay updated with what we're doing. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to jump out of the shot. We're going to let you play this out here, and if you want to intro the song or whatever.
All
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, Powder Valley Bang.
Shout out to Ian for coming with me today. He rode his motorcycle, so he couldn't fit his bass on there. So, I was trying to think of which song to play, and some of them are tough to play without the band just because of the full experience. So I picked a nice solo acoustic one. This one I'll dedicate to my wife because as we've been together, she sees how my brain works, right? And during the pandemic, we spent a lot of time together because we were both home, obviously. And I had like these notebooks every day. We'd walk the dog, and I'd be like, "Oh, the sky is blue above the rain," and write that down. And then I had like this real basic idea of this song, and then when I got the inspiration, I put it all together. And Ian came over the one day, and I was like, "I'm stuck with this part," and he's really good at simplifying those things for us sometimes because I'm all whatever. So I dedicated it to my wife Bailey because it's her favorite song, but Ian helped me write this too because he helped me iron it out. But this one's called Endless Wave. Clock strikes 3, the cloud goes gray. If young love lights your heart, don't delay. Town is quiet as the wind bellows. It's your regret you forget to say hello. With a heavy heart, I warn you, I'm heading out today. Don't tell mother I'll be gone before the break of day. The sky is blue above the rain. It's not a tunnel, it's an endless wave. Into this world we are thrown. How you live is yours alone. Lightning strikes and it lights up the sky. Tell me that there's not more than meets the eye. Take all you can, give nothing back. The ocean is the heart, I am the attack. And Ricky walked out into the middle of a lake. He didn't know he couldn't swim in shoes of concrete. And under the surface his dreams are engraved, drowning on an endless wave. endless wave. Thank you so much.
We will see you down at the Platzes.
Musifkest
2025.
2025.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.